Welcome, everyone, to That Kind of Nerds podcast, a weekly show that tells you what is going on in the nerdy world. I am CJ Mellon, joined by Josh Burns and Brian Thornton.
What up?
Hello. Hi. What's going on?
This is the part of the show where I say this is the first time listening. I highly recommend you go to intro.thatkindofnerd.com, learn a little bit about us, learn a little bit about the show, and then go ahead and dive into this episode. I think
you should listen to episode 83.
83?
Yeah, 83.
Episode 83 is called We're Thankful for Denzel and Bane.
Oh, that's a Thanksgiving episode.
That's a Thanksgiving episode. Yeah, good call, Brian.
Welcome.
Wow, buddy. November 28th, 2016.
Out of my brainscape.
Wow.
That's like a 2 years ago Thanksgiving episode. That is really, really well timed, Brian.
For the record, I'm still thankful for Denzel Washington and Bane.
Me too.
Listen, there's no other way to start off this week's episode. We have to talk about the world of comics, how it's affecting TV, how it's affecting movies, how it's affecting Brian, how it's affecting the world this week, because it's time for Cape Talk. And we need to address the death of Stan Lee. This was, listen, it wasn't sudden. The man was 95. But it was just, I don't know. It was never the right time by this. And it was really touching to see the whole world really come out and celebrate Stan Lee, his life, and his creations. And I don't know. I'm at a loss for words, Brian.
All the fan art, all the dedications, all the tributes, all the videos, all the cameos, all the interviews. It's a life that will be celebrated forever. It's someone that we'll think about every time we see a Marvel movie, regardless of whether he can cameo or not. Probably far less emotional for me than it was for Brian, so I'll shut up.
Before Brian goes, I just want to say one thing. A takeaway I had from Stan Lee's life, looking at his history, was he didn't start doing comics until a little later in life. And it really is a chance that if you have a passion or if something really motivates you and drives you, just because you're 20 or you're 30 or hell, even if you're 40, it doesn't stop you from starting that and pursuing that as your life's goal. So it's an example to just follow your dreams and follow your ambitions. They'll take you to great places.
The funny thing about that story is he was working for Timely Comics, and it was during the time in between the 60s and World War II, so like in the 50s, late 50s, where they weren't doing superhero comic books anymore, and it was all westerns and sci-fi, and he was just bored. He was bored of doing the same story over and over again. And anybody who's read anything about Stan Lee knows this story, that he was going to quit, and he essentially was like challenging them to get him to fire him because he came home. He went home to his wife Joni and said, I can't do this anymore. This is not what I want to do. I want to tell these stories. This is what I have in mind. And his wife said, well, if you're just going to quit, just do it. What's the worst that they can do? They're going to fire you. Just tell the stories and print the stories that you want to do. And that was Fantastic Four #1. And it just all started from there. This hit me a lot harder than I thought it would. I don't normally get upset over celebrity deaths, but this guy was the author of my childhood. Everything that I am and is ingrained in me as an adult is because of this guy and his crazy imagination and his storytelling to just make everybody feel like they could be a superhero. And my father and my parents instilled a lot of really good values and morals in me, but they were also then reinforced by the stuff I was reading in comic books, and knowing that it doesn't matter, what your station in life is, you can make a difference. It was huge. I've had several people reach out to me at work and through text messages asking me if I'm okay. And it's odd because I always have to ask them, are you being serious? And they're like, yes, I get it. I know this is a huge deal for you. I keep looking at stuff online, and every time I see a new tribute or a new interview or a new video, I kind of tear up, and I I get increasingly upset because I never got a chance to, meet the guy at a con and tell him how much his world meant to me. I've told this story.
I think he knows that though. Like I think he knows what it meant to everybody.
Yeah, and this most notably Spider-Man like got me through my childhood, and it's just it's tough. So I mean, that's all I'll say about it. I mean, the man had lived a great life, a huge bucket of wind, and he will live on forever, and he still has some cameos that they pre-filmed. He'll be in Wreck-It Ralph 2, so I get to get overjoyed for 2 reasons.
No,
he has a cameo in Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Oh God, this is gonna hurt so much.
He has a cameo in Spider-Man: Edge of the Spider-Verse as well. So we're gonna hear his voice twice before, the end of the year. And I mean, I don't want to start the show on a down note, but this has not been an easy thing for me to keep seeing and hearing and listening to, and people bringing it up. So I'll stop there. But yes, it was a great man. Very, every interview, everything you ever read about him, nothing but kind words, and very sweet guy who always made time for his fans, always stopped to take a picture, to sign an autograph, or something. He will be missed.
He was definitely a person, like Josh said, who understood and really loved to hear that his creations have impacted somebody's life. And the man must have heard it. I mean, sitting at a Comic-Con for hours and hours, must have heard it thousands of times a day. But everyone who I've talked to who's met him or has seen him at a con basically say the same thing. When someone comes up to them and says that a character that he created, a story that he wrote, that something from Marvel or something that he built impacted and touched their lives, he responded as if it was the first time he heard it from anybody. And he made sure that person felt like he got that message. He clearly understood that this was a crazy circumstance, a crazy ride. He was so happy to bring that joy to other people, and he would definitely make sure that he spread it through. So
that early cameo he did in Mallrats was the most time he spent on film in any movie, and you could tell that Kevin Smith and the actors in the movie really, really, really revered.
Have you?
It's really one of his best cameos.
It is great.
It is. You should really. Kevin Smith released a Fat Man Beyond podcast / YouTube video, just telling stories about Stan, and it was so funny. I just watched it, and he's telling the story about how he got him to come and do Mallrats, and he mails the script to him with the pages with the scene that he's going to show up, and that scene in Mallrats, he's talking to Brody about this lost love that he had, that he never, got the chance to say how he felt, and he would trade it all just to be able to have that moment.
Of course, the Green Goblin showed up and pumpkin bombed the hell out of everything.
And Stan Lee calls Kevin Smith and goes, "I would never say this. I found my one. I'm happily married. I never had this issue." He's like, I don't want my wife to be upset when I talk about this other woman. You need to put a line in there saying that it's all a joke or something like that. And that's where,
and he did that. Yeah, he came back on the back end and talked to what's his name, Jason Face, and explained that he trumped up a story.
So Stanley, you will be missed, but you'll obviously never be forgotten. Excelsior, buddy. I hope everyone just had a little cathartic moment. And what we're gonna do in honor of Stan, right, is go on with the rest of the nerdy world, cover the news that we have to talk about. And we're just gonna dive right into this. This is news that was breaking right before we went to record on Friday. Supergirl has cast Jon Cryer as its villain, Lex Luthor.
That's funny because he was like Lex Luthor's adopted son or nephew or some shit in Superman 4. Do you guys recall that?
Really?
Yeah.
I do not recall this.
So here's the thing. I haven't, I don't ever read these articles that you put in there because I like to do this shit live.
Yes.
But I saw this and I went, wait a minute, he played like a stool pigeon in Superman 4.
Yeah, he's Lenny.
I don't know. I don't know from names, but he was certainly in. I don't know if he was like an adopted son, like or a nephew or something, but he was definitely in Superman 4 as a Luthor. And also John Cryer, I think underappreciated actor. If you guys haven't ever seen the movie Hiding Out, it was like 1987, 88. It's like one of those guilty pleasure B movies that I love. He was really good in that as like a guy hiding from the mob. So like he's capable of being subversive and playing sort of a weasel character. I think he'll be fine as Lex Luthor. I don't know that he's diabolical, but I'm sure he can work that out.
I obviously the only exposure I really had to John Cryer that actually like pops into my brain at all.
Don't say 2.5 Men.
That's
don't
all it is. It's 2.5 Men.
Don't say it. God,
you don't even think of Ducky?
No, I think of 2.5 Men, and it's the only thing I can think of. And at the end of the day, in Berlanti we trust, so I'll trust it. There's obviously something there. Just gut reaction when I first saw it was, oh god, but there was like, oh, Berlanti never really steered me wrong. I mean, besides Riverdale, I'm on board for everything the guy's done. So
yeah, I'm a little worried about his ability to be like the diabolical genius level.
He's not diabolical.
But Supergirl is so good. Like it's got to be.
Hey,
it's got to be the right call.
Oh, I'm not going to act
that
like
show is just so well done.
Yeah, I'm not going to act like I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to watch it.
Anything that's better than popping a Jolly Rancher into another man's mouth. So no matter what, it's a net win.
I mean, if they paid reference to that and had him, eating Jolly Ranchers, I'd laugh hysterically.
I don't know.
I'm missing the reference here.
That's from
Dawn of Justice.
The Batman vs Superman.
Where he's blackmailing the Congress member, and he takes a little Jolly Rancher and he shoves it into his mouth.
All right, fair enough.
Very seductively. I don't think that was scripted. I think Jesse Eisenberg made that choice. I really do.
Yeah, he did. Ugh. All right, I do need to give a shout out to a fan for Arad Chambers. He gave me this story, so thank you, sir, for throwing this my direction. Amazon Prime members are going to have the ability to see Aquaman 5 days early.
Oh, they get to be disappointed a week early? Good for them.
Listen, I mean, it's almost like having early access. And,
how?
If you... Hold on, I'm reading the...
Participating theaters. So Regal Cinemas...
I have a Regal.
Cinepolis, Bowtie, ArcLight, Showcase, Studio
Not AMC
Movie
or anything
Grill.
like that. Yeah, it's everything but AMC, essentially.
Yeah, not AMC.
Right, which is...
There's a Regal by me, guys.
Hold on.
Come
There's
on
a
out
Regal
to where
up
I live.
here. I just, I don't know that I want to pay to see this movie.
I mean, since my A-list status, I don't know if I want to pay to see any movie.
Right.
So it is
outside of the $20 I pay a month.
So this is obviously a smaller selection of theaters. However, it's a good selection. So if you really wanted to, I mean, it's not hard to find a Regal Cinemas in the U.S. They're pretty big. You will be able to see the advanced screening held on December 15th. Nationwide. If you're a Prime member, you have the ability to go ahead and buy the tickets early. I mean, it's a perk for having Prime. They've done this for other movies. We've talked about this before as well for other films. But this isn't the movie that I'll do that for. This is certainly going to be an A-list movie for me. However, if you're a DC fan, and I don't know why you're listening to this show, you'll enjoy the early access.
I'm a DC fan.
I know. But the attitude that we've had for DC collectively, we've obviously pushed them all away.
I love the TV shows.
Yes, we do.
I just watched the newest episode of Titans. It was great.
But at the same time, Josh, what do you think about Titans?
Nope.
Yep. So, I mean,
you're a dick.
Listen,
no, I'm not. I tried, dude. I watched the first episode. I was like, no, I don't like it. You're like, dude, give it another try. I watched second episode and I was like, this is fucking awful.
I'm pretty sure I have you in recorded format as saying that you actually enjoyed the first episode.
Yeah, it was all right, but it wasn't enough to like make me want to watch episode 2.
Sure.
And then I watched episode 2 and that was terrible. Like Firestorm ruined the show.
You mean Starfire?
Raven sucks. That's what I meant. Starfire, sorry. Starfire ruined the show. Raven sucks. The show sucks. It's not a good show.
I'm not even going to agree to disagree. I'm just going to say you're wrong, and let's move on.
Hey, remember that time I was pitching that fans should get us in touch with DC? I rescind that offer because you don't want to talk to us now.
I'll get in touch with DC. I got you.
Yeah, you try that. Do you want to talk about though? We got a lot to break down for this. We need to talk about the world of TV and movies in a segment that we call Screen to Stream. Let's do this right away. We got a trailer for Detective Pikachu, the live action Pokemon movie, where Pikachu is voiced by Ryan Reynolds. And there was two things that I had when I watched this movie. I was like, what in the actual fuck am I watching? And when can I watch it? Can I watch it now? When is it coming out, please?
Yeah, it kind of made me want to see it.
It really made me want to see it.
It was a really well-made trailer.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, I get that it's, again,
I kind of want to watch it again. I'm going to watch it again.
Christian wants to see it very badly. I'm over here going, this movie's not going to be good.
Oh, no.
Oh, I think it might be. I think it's got potential.
No. I think Pikapool is funny, but that's the extent of the rest of the good parts of this movie.
I think this movie's got potential. And if it is successful, all of the video game movies are going to come out of the woodwork.
When your lead character is the comic relief guy from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
I thought the same thing too. I was like, where do I know this guy?
You've got
that kid is from.
You've got a flawed premise.
Yeah,
you've started on the wrong
Ken
foot.
Watanabe's in it.
Yes, for probably like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, super briefly, Ken Watanabe's in it.
But Pika.
Ryan Reynolds, I get it. I do, but like he's not being Ryan Reynolds. He's not, super califocalistic, kiss my acidocious. You know what I mean? He's just.
And if they do,
he's Pika.
Every time he's about to say the word fuck, he'll be like, what the Pika? They'll just cut out to the third perspective of Pikachu and he'd be like, oh, look like Pikachu swearing. But he's not. So
it's going to be a whole lot of they don't understand me.
Listen. You have my money. Like you got it. I'm there. I'm in the seat. Okay. I'm not gonna be happy about it afterwards. I was like, oh, you fucking movie.
I don't know if I'm in the seat.
I'm there. Oh, you kidding me? How does this not go on the Patreon list immediately?
Oh, it absolutely does go on the Patreon list.
Better hope this podcast folds up shop, Josh.
When does this come out?
When is this coming out?
May 9th, 2019.
It's around my birthday time too.
All right. There's going to be something worse than this in May.
Yes, but come on, dude. It's the Pokemon movie. It's happening. So let's talk about the other trailer or teaser. Well, no, that's a trailer. Teasers. There were 2 teasers.
Wait, I'm not done watching Detective Pikachu again.
Oh, okay. Seeing the real life, quote unquote, Pokemon is disturbing and awesome at the same time. There's a few that are like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
The Mr. Mime.
The Mr. Mime is pretty awesome. I thought it was spot on. But like the Psyduck looks like Howard the Duck. I'm really perplexed by it.
Yeah, well, I think some of them are supposed to look a little cartoony.
And the Charmander was weird looking. The Charizard looked awesome. He was really cool. But I mean, find me a dumb looking Charizard. You can't do it. No. It's Charizard.
So in June of 2019, we get a new Toy Story.
Yes, there were 2 teasers that came out for this. One of them was this spinning circle of the characters, followed by a very unhappy fork.
It was a spork. It was a spork with like the pipe cleaners glued onto it.
I guess what is a toy, man? That existential question. What makes a toy, man? Was represented in there. I mean, that just was weird. And then we got a second teaser which had Key and Peele doing basically their valet sketch right in front of the hotel that they work at. The one that's like, yo, you like that Liam Neeson's? Which is a great bit, but it was so out of place for a Toy Story movie.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one.
Then I'm like, who are you? Well, okay, that's kind of, they were doing their bit.
It was like a duck and bunny react thing, and I was like, I'm not watching.
It was way too like meta, and then
it has nothing to do with the movie. I don't care.
Nothing to do with the movie. But I think those characters. I mean, are the characters going to be?
They'll be in there.
Well, that's great. Yeah. That's great if they're in the movie, but they're like
fourth wall breaking.
Right, had nothing to do with the movie.
I think this is the last time you're going to see Woody and Buzz.
Well, yes, but like you're not handing off to Key and Peele.
I think you might be.
Really?
Oh, well then I think it's not Toy Story.
Either that, or you might be handing it off to 2 other people. I think they're trying to rebrand, refresh, and maybe get a whole nother trilogy out of it.
I mean. Sure, Star Wars.
Then make it something else. It's not Toy Story.
No, they're doing the Star Wars thing, right? We'll kill off Ben. We'll kill off all these other people. We'll just kill them all off. That's fine. Start with a new class. Yeah. I mean, it's Disney, Josh. That's what's going to happen, right?
Hey,
Sequels.
call
after
it something.
sequels.
Call it something else.
Come on. How many Little Mermaids are there? Probably like 17 by now, right?
There's 3 canon ones.
Oh, I really don't care.
Then there was the TV show.
Really don't.
Nobody cares.
Are you including the sing-alongs?
All right. We also got a trailer for the non-Disney movie of Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle. I didn't watch. I didn't watch this trailer. You didn't watch it either. I didn't watch this. I have
really.
I have zero
interest. Oh my god, Brian! What is going on right now?
I already saw a good Jungle Book live action.
So
it was John Favreau's Jungle Book.
When I sent you guys this trailer, my reaction was another one. But I did watch the trailer. It is a really good cast. It is quite a different spin than Jungle Book,
right? Because they have to.
Well, obviously, it's a different story, and it's it's a Netflix original,
directed by Andy Serkis.
Probably fine, right? Nobody's saying it's going to be great, but probably fine. I watched the trailer; it was a good trailer, actually above average trailer. Got me interested in the movie. Told the story without revealing too much, obviously, but there's definitely a very different spin than Jungle Book.
So let me ask you this: as a man whose time is limited with things to watch, but will make time for watching things. Like
this is a hotel movie for sure,
right? But I mean, what is the case? What is the argument then for people who are like us, who's saying, "No, thanks, we already got one." To watch this at all?
Because it's a story about Mowgli actually like reconnecting with humans, joining the villagers. It's a whole different story than you're used to.
All right, I gotta watch this. Hang on.
Oh, now he's interested. Okay.
A few moments later.
So,
it looks all right.
It looks all right. Wait, look, you got Christian Bale,
Kate Blanchett, Benedict
Kate Blanchett as the snake, and you've got Crumpty Bump Slappy Back as Shere Khan.
And since there's mocap, Andy Serkis is in it because
that's what he does, right? But like, it's not trying to be the Jungle Book,
right?
It's not.
I agree. This is gonna go on my watch list. I'll never watch it.
Really?
I will never watch. I'll look at it and be like, we should totally watch tomorrow. We'll watch it tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow comes. Next thing, I'm still 9 episodes into the Great British Bake Off, and I'm not watching
that. How you can watch any of that crap over? Like, I don't understand. That's Zoe.
First
watches
off,
that shit. It's like, it's awful.
Great British Bake Off is fantastic. Okay,
dude,
I've never cared about marzipan in my entire life.
It's like a step above Little Lunch. Like, it's just not.
I'll never watch this movie. I'm sorry. Brian, is this going on the list? Does this go on the list?
No, he's not going to put it on the list because he's actually going to watch this.
That's not true. I put things on the list that I do intend.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Listen.
You put shit on the list that never gets watched.
Let's not put a lipstick on a pig and call it attractive. Okay, let's call this for what it is.
That could be a damn attractive pig. You never know.
Never know. But at the same time, Brian's not going to make out with that pig, even though it's got lipstick on. This is never being watched by Brian either. I think Brian's picturing the pig. That's why he's so quiet.
I'm going to work on my list from the bottom up, just so it takes me longer to reach all the shit you guys actually want me to watch.
I'm going to throw up on my mouth. All right, I need a palate cleanser. Hello. All right. We got an official announcement this week also from Disney that they have named and given us maybe a detail about Disney Plus, their brand new streaming service that basically reminds you that Netflix, Amazon, and Hulu are totally beholden to whoever owns the intellectual property, and we're all doomed when Disney takes it all away. You will have to get the subscription service because everything you love is somehow owned by Disney. It's outrageous.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But we're talking about late next year, right? So I have another year.
You have another year.
So this is future Josh's problem.
But they're going to start taking things off. So this may be like they're going to do the Disney
like
Vault
layers
thing.
of clothing.
They're going to do the Disney Vault thing. They're going to be like, "Hey, wasn't Monsters Inc. on Netflix like 3 days ago? Yeah, it's not there anymore." And then it's like, "Well, now that Disney Plus is officially active, we've take our movies out of the vault, and you can now watch Monsters Inc. Remember when you missed it a year ago? We know because we have all the analytics on you." And it's just gonna be nothing you're gonna have to do. But
nothing R-rated.
Right. So don't worry, Iron Fist will still be on Netflix.
But that should be all of the Netflix Marvel properties.
So there is a placeholder website for Disney Plus as well right now. So you can kind of see the extent of what's going on. Also, Never mind. I'm not even going to start with the fact that it's an actual plus sign in their logo, and people are going to call it all kinds of weird things. National Geographic is under the Disney banner once they get Fox. Is that how that's working?
Yes.
Super weird. Like, they're advertising on Disney Plus. Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, National Geographic. So,
I guess.
I mean,
I don't know.
guess that's a thing.
Does that mean Fox owns like the Discovery Network? I thought the Discovery Network was Nat Geo.
No, I thought that was a no. That's a totally separate thing. Like, Discovery's its own thing, and TLC, it's its own network.
I just need to know where I can watch Say Yes to the Dress.
Hulu. The answer is Hulu. All right. I need to get this ready. For our next topic, it requires an interactive song because we're going to see one of our favorite stars again, and it's been a while. We're going to see Williams, Missy Williams, Missy Williams, Missy Williams. All right, Game of Thrones.
Sophie Turner.
You need that good
Peter Dinklage.
You need that good syllables, right? The good 4 syllables to really kind of make that work for anybody. Sasha Wapern.
You can do it any way you like.
Anyway, Game of Thrones Season 8 has got a premiere month, which is going to be April of 2019. And they gave us a video that has absolutely no new footage, but just kind of reminds you of how far we've come, considering that this is going to be the 8th and final season of this show. I kind of forgot, all of this stuff. And I just rewatched Game of Thrones, 2.5, 3 months ago. Which means we're going to have to do it again before April. I'm pretty excited. April just can't come soon enough. But we don't have a date. Does anyone
Yeah,
find a
I
date?
thought we always knew it was coming out in April. I'm confused.
It was always I thought it was teased and never confirmed.
Oh, okay. I thought
I
it was
may be
a
wrong.
thing.
I may be crazy.
No, I mean, I could be wrong.
I just may be the lunatic you're looking for.
Oh, okay. I don't know what song you're quoting.
That's okay. I did it for Josh.
Are you serious? It's Billy Joel's song. What? Oh, Brian.
Obviously, Brian, you didn't listen to Josh's essential albums and songs to listen to.
I actually own the Essential Billy Joel album.
That's okay. He's got a lot of hits. This show looks like, unlike other series, that it's going to go out on top. The books are not done, so I have no idea how that is going to play into the final things. But it's super interesting. This show has been going strong. It hasn't really lost a lot of fans, and I think they kind of realize that this is the time to bow out. And it's only going to be 6 episodes this season.
Yeah, but they're going to be 2-hour episodes.
They're at least 90 minutes, I think, or at least
that's awesome.
A little bit more for that. So you're going to get more things, kind of like British TV, right? You're going to get a much longer episode, but fewer episodes, which I don't care.
I'm literally going to get
Sherlock.
6 movies.
Which is fantastic.
Right. How much do we love Sherlock? It's 3 movies per season.
Yeah.
This is going to be 6 of those. Fine.
Super consumable. Lay down for it. Now, Brian, if I am reading my notes here, this next topic was something that you had discovered. And that is the Lego Batman movie. The Lego Batman movie director, Chris McKay, is set to direct Johnny Quest.
Yeah, I put this in here just because I was like, holy shit, they're making a Johnny Quest movie? Then I got excited. And then I said, I don't know how I feel about this. It's going to be live action, right?
Allegedly?
Yeah.
I mean,
they said live action, so it's not computer animated. So I'm just curious who they get to play these fine people. And
my bigger question, go ahead.
Is it we're endangering 6-year-old Johnny Quest, or is he going to be a teenager?
Older. Yeah, he'll be older, Johnny Quest.
You were asking who are we going to get to play and how do we make this engaging? My question is who still cares about Johnny Quest that isn't
Johnny Quest
30?
Is still a pretty popular cartoon.
I care about Johnny Quest. Johnny Quest is pretty baller.
I know you do, but I mean I mean seriously,
anybody that watches Cartoon Network watches Johnny Quest.
Not anymore.
Is Johnny Quest still playing on Cartoon Network?
No, he's playing on Boomerang.
Yes, there's some. Oh, is it Boomerang?
It's Boomerang,
Whatever,
just the Hanna-Barbera network. It's all Hanna-Barbera.
Boomerang's amazing. So but parents put that shit on and leave it on all day. There are kids still watching Johnny Quest. My kids watch Johnny Quest.
Your kids are smart.
Not current, they did. I don't know that they choose to watch it now, but when I was just putting on, TV to play with them so that there's something in the background, it was Johnny Quest.
That's the thing. Lego Batman was a great mixture of kids movie of good for kids, great for adults. That magic that happens when they all meet in the middle and everyone leaves entertained from a movie. So I mean, like I'm down for that. But I just like Johnny Quest is
It's
that one
an
thing.
animated feature. I'd almost rather see a Lego Johnny Quest than a Johnny Quest movie.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. This is just weird. But that's
It's not live action, right? It's
no,
animated.
this is a live
It
action
said
movie.
it's live action.
They're producing a live action movie.
And this is the guy who you want to do it. Fun for all. My question is this. He's also supposed to be directing Nightwing. So
Yes,
what's
he
going
is.
on with Nightwing?
Believe me, I think all DC movies right now are kind of going, what is going on with that movie?
I'm really kind of confused.
Don't bother trying to unravel.
I'm going to get my Nightwing and Titans before I get a Nightwing movie, and I'm okay with
Yeah,
that. And I don't care how Josh feels about the show. It's amazing.
I will be the Flash before we see the Flash
not.
movie.
Not amazing.
Dude, they just did an episode with Jason Todd, and it kicked so much ass.
Okay, well, maybe that episode did, but the episode 2 made it impossible for me to watch episode 3.
You guys are just going to bicker about Titans all night, aren't you?
You sit here and you watch shows like Breaking Bad that take like 18 episodes to get to anything interesting.
I disagree. Breaking Bad was interesting episode 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
It started with a confession that the guy just
Agree
drove
to
past him.
disagree.
He's in his underwear the
Right.
whole time. Like, come on.
Right.
Like, you're set up to think, oh, God, this is where it all falls apart. And you're like, oh. Nope. All right. I see we're just getting started. Anyway. I also, just speaking of DC, I believe somewhere in the vault of Warner Brothers and DC, someone has some dirt on Jeremy Irons because he is cast in the Watchmen series on HBO. This is the
Why do you think that?
I'm just saying, you dragged him in for Batman versus Superman, right? And he
I
was
don't
just
think
like,
you dragged him in. Dude, you go to anybody of age and say, hey, would you like to play Alfred in the Batman movie? And
Yes.
you say yes.
and then
You ask
That's
any
the
real
answer?
racer. It doesn't matter whether you win by an inch or a mile.
Winning's
winning.
Good old Fast and Furious. Anyway, Brian, who is he playing in Watchmen though? Like, is this someone that we're gonna care about? Is this someone that we know?
Ozymandias?
Of course of course we're going to care about him. He's the pivotal character.
He's the biggest part of the original Watchmen book.
Calm down. Just trying to give you.
Here's
trying to
the
give
thing.
you your
If
platform.
If you,
But
if you're
my
a
thing
fan-
is, Josh,
yeah.
Jeremy Irons is quite a
way
bit older.
way older than Ozymandias should
So is
be.
this taking place after
Well,
I would
let's
hope
the
so.
Watchmen book?
Let's think about the possibilities are
Endless.
that a young Ozymandias set things in motion that now Jeremy Irons Ozymandias is sort of bringing to fruition. So I think we might get a time jumping type Watchmen story.
If I may, HBO's Watchmen is set 10 years in the future from any other Watchmen story that we've known of.
Well, I got to tell you, Jeremy
Jeremy
Irons
Irons
is
is-
a solid 30 years older
So, yeah,
than
yeah.
I'm
any
just saying-
Ozymandias we've ever seen.
Right. We're just
Like
So
he's
10
he's
years
in
after the
what-
squid.
Right. So what this guy, Jeremy Irons, is pretty old, right? But like he's got some serious acting chops.
Oh,
And-
I love Jeremy Irons.
yeah, and he can be super intense. He can be villainous. I cite
Lion King?
No,
Black
I
Sparrow.
don't cite Scar. No, I cite Die Hard
Black
with
Sparrow?
a Vengeance.
Yeah, he was. Spoiler alert for Black Sparrow. He was the bad guy in Black Sparrow.
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah, Die Hard with it. Well, he's Simple Simon.
Exactly right. And he was funny and scary and interesting, and he was a talker, and he was brilliant.
He had his hair dyed blonde, much like Ozymandias in that movie.
That's actually the parallel. Thank you, Brian, for drawing that
welcome.
parallel for me because that's what I was going for. He was very much sort of 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of the game the entire time in that movie, and very Ozymandias like, and that's sort of how I think he portrays Ozymandias. Don't you?
I did not think of that before, but now you've spoken and have enlightened me. So yes.
You guys got a lot at the end of it. This is great.
I'm excited. I think you give me Watchmen in any format, and I'm going to be excited about it. I am concerned about Jeremy Irons being an octogenarian. Octogenarian? Not ecto.
I think it's Octo.
Octogenarian,
Octo.
not ecto.
I don't
'cause
think I'm
that's
allowed to.
Ghostbusters.
I don't think
That's
we're. I
Ghostbusters.
don't think we're allowed to say that word on the podcast. I now think
It's
we're
a-
censored in Greece.
It's a proper word.
I'm just saying.
I have issues with.
a lot.
Yeah, he's
Ice
dude. He's
Keys.
old. He's old. playing a character who's not old. Even 10 years later is not old. Like 10 years later, he'd have been in his late 30s, 40s. Early 40s. Yeah. So that's an obstacle, but I think he can pull it off. I just hope they don't try to young him up too much. I want Jeremy Irons to be Jeremy Irons from Die Hard with a Vengeance. That's what I want.
All right. When is that series premiere?
2019, I think.
So 2019, the ambiguous 2019. At some point, shit gets streamed to my house, and I will go, yes, watch, please, thank you. I will have. Josh Burns, I know this was a topic that you suggested, and before you dive too deep into this, disclaimer: I may put this show on my watch list because I've never seen it. We're talking about The Shield.
You've never seen The Shield?
I have never seen The Shield.
Okay.
I want to say I've only seen the first 4 seasons.
I remember this being on FX.
I don't think I've ever finished it.
FX.
I remember this was one of those shows that everyone fucking talked about.
Yeah, for sure.
This show has got your boy Walton Goggins.
It's got that was sort of the start of Walton Goggins.
That was
right?
I was about to say that's the first time I remember.
It wasn't
seeing
just him. It was the whole crew. Gardaki's been in a bunch of stuff, and the blonde dude was in a bunch of stuff, including Sons of Anarchy and other things. He was in that show with the Oklahoma City show. I can't even remember the show, but it was actually a pretty good crime show. But
for me, I think this was the golden age of FX because this was around the same time Nip Tuck and Rescue Me was on.
Dude, it's not golden age. Like the thing about The Shield was, I mean, The Shield kicked off gritty TV
without no Sons of
we
Anarchy.
Know now.
Yeah, right.
No,
Sons of
for
Anarchy,
sure.
No Breaking Bad. If it wasn't
Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead, even
and it changed network TV too. Even the way that they handled cop dramas. I mean, this show was a very influential show.
Not only influential, but super edgy, and also just very sort of campy and corny. Especially with the music was terrible, but overall, it was really a solid show, and we saw quite a few people have careers well beyond The Shield. Michael Jace, obviously, and then you had Benito Martinez, who played.
You mean Michael Chiklis?
No. Michael Jace, who's been in a bunch of stuff since then.
Never mind. Okay.
Benito Martinez played Captain Aceveda, and he's been in a ton of shit. CCH Pounder, basically, she's always an authority figure in everything she does, and that really, a lot of that came from her character, Claudette Wims. There's a ton of characters in this that have gone on to do a ton of other stuff. Not just I'm going to do the crime show tour and do one episode of everything, but it have been meaningful. I just said CCH Pounder. She had a very, very impactful role in Sons of Anarchy as the DA.
Yes. I mean, she always plays a wonderful authority figure.
She really does.
Out of me every time she plays something.
Absolutely, she really does. But Benito Martinez, Brian, who was the captain, David Aceveda, for the duration.
Who then became
the
DA, right? Doesn't he become the DA in season 3? And that's when Glenn Close comes in.
He has had quite a few roles since then. American Crime is a major series. He's Blacklist.
Okay. Oh, all right.
House of Cards.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in House of Cards. That's right.
For 2 seasons.
This show definitely launched 1,000 ships.
A bunch of careers, and I saw this article, and it was about, and you guys can see it in the show notes, but they're really revisiting what The Shield did for TV, and it's something that you already know because you recognize all these faces, but you don't think about it until somebody says, "Hey, these were all in The Shield," and you're like, "Oh, I never watched The Shield." You should fucking watch The Shield. I've watched this series, so this was one of those that. Guys, don't do this. Don't ever do what I'm saying I did. But I had an hour plus commute every single day, one way. So back and forth an hour, and I'm streaming it in my car as I'm driving. Right now, I'm not watching. I mean, it's in my field of vision, right? Because I had a car mount. So
I would have never done that with Sons of Anarchy when I had to watch it.
Right, exactly right. I've done it with Sons of Anarchy and Sopranos. Everything. The only reason I've watched all these series 3, 4, 5, 6 times is because I watch them while I'm driving.
I'm
not watching them.
Don't do
it. And I'm not actually watching, but they're there, right? And you get it. You get the gist of it. But look, I look, guilty as charged. I shouldn't have done it. I did it. I did it a bunch of times.
I don't know what the statute of
do it
limitations
again.
is. I not guilty as charged. No charges.
But listen, this was one of those shows that was super captivating, and I've watched, I think 2.5 times straight through. I didn't finish it the third time, but again, amazing. Oh, and another show that I forgot that it would not have been possible without this show, Justified.
Right. So the reason, though, that this article came into being is because it is being released for the first time on Blu-ray on December 11th. The reason that that's important to note is, as of right now, from the research I'm doing, it's not available on Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Crackle. I mean, it's available.
It was on Hulu. It was on Hulu.
Is it on Hulu now? Like, if I want to watch this, can I watch this right now? Oh, here it is, The Shield. Okay, never mind.
It's on Hulu.
It's on the Hulus.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that for sure.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry. I apologize. I retract my statement. However, it is available to own on Blu-ray for December, which means you got commentary.
Brian, if you get like a holiday deal on this, you should buy the Blu-ray set and watch it again.
Okay, I mean,
put it on your list.
I've seen 90% of the Shield. I think I only haven't seen what it was 5 seasons, right?
It was 7 seasons, dude.
It was 7.
7. You should finish it because.
Well, then I've never seen the last 2 seasons
because it really escalates. Really escalates.
Yeah, this
interesting.
This is a show that everyone obviously appreciates and adores, and went on for a long time, and no one complained about the fact that it was like still going or anything like that. I just never got around to watching it. So it's been on my list. And I think after reading this article, until I got to the spoilers, and obviously I
also Kurt Sutter, 19 episodes.
Oh, jeez.
He wrote 19 episodes. So, like, you need to watch this show.
I need to put it on. All right. I will actively be watching the show over the next couple weeks and getting it done. It's on my list, which means I'll get it complete.
No, it means you're going to watch. I know how you work. Yeah.
I'm going to get it complete. I do now want to turn our attention to a topic, a product, whatever. Then we need to give it the third degree in a segment that we call the nerd degree. And this topic was suggested to us none other than executive producer Brian Roman.
Oh, dude, I saw this on Twitter.
And yeah, it's the only link I have because I'm not deep diving into this at all. It is. Does it have a name?
Lex is the name.
Lex. All right.
It's a wearable chair, folks. But listen, here's how it works. You strap this thing, which basically looks like if you can imagine the opposite of assless chaps.
Just ass.
Right?
Just
ass. Just ass.
When they cut out the assless chaps, the leftover scraps?
The leftover of the assless chaps.
Sure.
The ass itself.
Yes.
Right? With then straps that you clamp around your thighs there.
Correct, yeah.
And then you've got these metal, chair legs, for lack of a better term, that are sort of, right behind you there.
They look like something you would get off like a razor phone.
Yeah, and then like you loosen them up and you can just sit wherever you like. They can support up to 265 pounds, which is great. That's wonderful. I could sit on them, I guess. I'm looking at them going, there's no way my half-drunk ass doesn't topple right the fuck over.
Here's like the use cases they have are like someone's walking around, like this guy's wearing it in this city, like walking to his job.
Yeah, walking around.
Like this is nothing. This is no big deal.
From home to the subway to his job.
When you stand up, you just tuck them, you fold them up so they rest basically on your ass cheeks.
Right, but then you can't sit anywhere.
And then
you can't sit with these metal rails behind you. Brian, are you seeing this?
You can't.
I'm watching it now.
You can't take these out in public. They look like
Look
weapons.
at this suave businessman with these metal rods just hanging out by the back of his ass.
And he's walking around like, yeah, this is totally normal. Yeah, this is how you get. You don't do this on your commute. You guys are kidding me.
Look at me sitting on my workbench on my portable legs.
You know when someone brings in like a medicine ball or a standing desk to work, and you're like, oh yeah, good for you. That's gonna last 8 days until he's no longer using that.
I think I have found a case study for better use of this thing.
Oh yeah?
You see how they kind of sit like rails up against you when they're folded up there?
Yes, I do.
Dude, I would be grinding down every railing that existed. I would just be hopping on rails and just sitting my ass all the way down.
You will literally break your neck by having this. This is
grinding my ass down these rails.
They're proposing this is doing it anywhere. Take it public transit. The only thing that I could ever see this being useful for is if you work in like a workshop where you're not actively working with like power tools, but like
No, this is like
move
a
from
this is
place
like a
to place.
stand-up desk that you strap to yourself.
so dumb.
It's so weird. And they're floppy. Like you stand up after sitting on them and they're just fucking flapping around behind you.
They've got to be more expensive than, I'm going to put this out there, a rolly chair? Like
$186 is the starting point.
And you can't obviously live on the base model.
No, you're going to upgrade them.
Like, I want the blue
padding
finish.
so the legs don't slide out from under you.
Yeah, no.
What happens if you try to sit on like a wet floor? Zoop, and you're on the floor.
You're just done.
Yeah.
You're done.
Hey, great way to sue your employer. This is a fantastic.
Disney World.
Yes.
This is the only place I could imagine
I'm
using
sure
them.
Disney knows the liability of this going, no, you can't have that in the park. No at all. Nope. It looks like you have swords on your butt.
Dude, as you're sitting in line, as you're, sitting comfortably on your leg chair.
Some kid's going to kick that out.
Right. But you're sitting on it, everything's wonderful. It's time to get on the ride. What do you do with your
Right.
What do you do with your ass chat chair?
You have to put it in the.
That's not going to fit in the little shoe bin.
No.
They absolutely will fit in the little
That's
shoe
not
bin.
going to fit in the shoe bin.
They're lightweight and portable, CJ.
That's like the size of a fucking music stand. Like it's giant. I'm looking at it going, that wouldn't even fit in Christian's like music stand.
Well, you
case.
can fold them outward though, so you could probably sit in the ride still.
Oh God, no!
No, dude, they're gonna be rails down your thighs.
No way,
There's
dude.
no like the back of your
The
thighs.
second you hit a bump, you're just going to get impaled.
You're sitting
You get that, Brian? It's not going to
You're
work.
sitting on metal.
So
Imagine going on the
a
water
roller
log.
coaster.
Yeah, dude, no way. You'd be dead.
Sitting on metal in the double shot. I would shit myself.
Good luck doing this, right? On a what's it called? Good luck doing this on Space Mountain, where it's dark. You get a lift out of your seat because every good roller coaster
and then
lifts
you
out of your
crash
seat
down
and then
on
you come
your
back down
metal,
on your metal
false
rods.
legs that are
Fuck
behind
off.
you.
Then no way, never gonna happen.
No,
I was just trying to think of some sort of
No.
fucking use for this
There's
stupidity.
no use for this. So
My bad.
I'm going to turn it over to Josh. Obviously, every week that we do the Nerd Degree, we do the same rating. So on our standard unit of measure, which never changes, what do you rate this?
I in our standard unit of measure, I rate this. I ordered eggs over easy, but the lady just smashed an apple pie in my face.
That's disturbing and confusing.
No, I mean, we do this every week, so I don't know why it's very
every
confusing.
week. It's the same thing. I don't know why it's funny to
you. Okay.
That's at a diner, by the way.
I believe me, I was
Just
right.
making sure you got it.
This is okay. I got it. This is like when you ask, "Can I sit in the non-smoking section?" But there were no seats left, so you were stuck in the smoking section between two chain smokers, and everything just tastes like cloves.
Oh, that's terrible.
Everything just tastes like cloves.
Are you eating it in 1994?
Yes.
He is when everyone smokes clove cigarettes.
Absolutely.
Either that or he's in a hookah parlor.
Sorry, all I can think about is, here's your fucking eggs. Just boom. That's the
So,
last.
Brian, you're in the diner.
You want some pie?
What's your standard unit of measure?
Full of laxative. It'll just move right through you.
This is I was so drunk I couldn't properly order, and I just pointed to a picture and I got Scrapple instead.
Oh, what are you gonna get Scrapple?
I hate Scrapple.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. In honor of Stan Lee, I decided to go ahead and turn our question of the week a little bit to you, asking who inspired or encouraged your nerdiness when you were young. We got a couple of great responses, and one of them we're going to save for the end is just a whole new level that we just have to discuss. But I want to start with Rob Schmel. He hit us up on Facebook, and he said it's easy. It's Saturday morning cartoons like Spider-Man and Batman the Animated Series that really made me nerdy. And I know, Rob, that really is that. It wasn't. Those cartoons definitely shaped him, and talking about them and at school and hanging out with them, definitely something I can attest to, shaped him into the nerdy guy that he is now. Patreon supporter Andrew Capilla commented and said, I would have to say that my dad encouraged my nerdiness. He showed me Return of the Jedi when I was 5 years old, and I fell in love with Star Wars. He worked at Rodell and was in charge of buying all the paper. And when he would go away on business, he would make sure that the paper sample that they gave him were comics, so he could give them to me. So that's a sweet memory.
That's a cool.
That's
story.
a really nice one.
Executive producer and Patreon subscriber Brian Roman says, I've always been kind of nerdy, but my old roommate Aaron got me into comics. He'd left an issue of Avengers Disassembled out in the living room that sparked my curiosity. He saw me reading and was like, hey, I've got a couple of long boxes if you like that. I've got a bunch of other things you need to read. He pulled out a pile of Brian Michael Bendis books and Civil War for me, and that was it. I needed more and started downloading every book associated with Civil War and the Ultimate Universe and started buying books once I was all caught up. Don't get on my case about pirating the shit. I've since bought all those back issues. I don't think anybody was judging, and I think that's a really cool story.
I was judging. Support your local comic store. Sorry, Brian Roman.
That's true. You should. For me, in a couple ways, but my family was definitely the group that encouraged my nerdiness. Everything from theater to comics to video games, it was all of them. My mom and dad were the ones who took me to play practice all the time. My brother Mike was an avid comic book collector and reader. So he was like showing me Spawn and trying to get me into comics that way. My brother Drew is definitely the one that got me into video games and get me competitive with it. And my little brother Kevin would play along and actually kind of deal with always being the last person to play a video game, but never complained about it. So everyone kind of encouraged me to do that. Definitely, though, at the end of the day was my dad. Taught me how to use a computer, taught me how to use DOS, taught me how to use everything, and kind of gave me the nerdiness that I have inside of me now. Joshua?
For me, it was nobody. Growing up in the early
Did you inspire
80s,
yourself?
Late, not really. So it wasn't cool to read comic books. It wasn't cool to collect cards, at least like not like care for them. You know what I mean? Like my friends had cards, but they didn't care for them. Certainly they weren't reading comic books. They didn't care about the storylines of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or any of the other cartoons. It was not encouraged. Being a nerd was not cool. And I found myself in the very fortunate position that I was a pretty talented athlete and had a lot of friends, and I could be the tough guy that didn't get bullied for being a nerd, but I just sort of hid it my entire life until high school. There was this dude who was he was determined that we were going to be friends. Right. And I didn't, like he was also on the football team, but he was determined that we were going to be friends and he wouldn't leave me alone about it okay. So we started hanging out. There was a birthday party he had. It was like the first co-ed birthday party I went to, and I showed up late. I get there and I got a seat all the way in the back, and basically all these nerds, super nerds, have decided they're going to watch all the Highlander movies. And I'm sitting in this chair in the back of the room. You can barely see this tube, this 27-inch tube TV, all the way in the back of the room. And next to me is this dude I've never met, right? But clearly one of the nerd troop. And I was happy to be a part of this group because at least they were honest with each other. And I'm watching this movie and he is just cracking me up the entire time. So this guy, Justin, my buddy Dave, it wasn't until I was, 16 older that it was okay not to be a tough guy, not to be in trouble, not to be an athlete, not to be the center of attention. It was just cool to be part of a group that weren't about any of that shit. And I didn't learn that until I was, damn near out of high school. And nobody influenced me when I was young, and it wasn't okay. And then these people made it okay. And it completely changed my life.
I've told this story before. Very, very clearly, my father was the one who encouraged my nerdiness. I, very similar to Josh, was not in the time where it was cool to be a nerd. It was not cool to like comic books. It was not encouraged, and I, unlike Josh, was not athletic, so I did get bullied. So, as I mentioned at the top of the show, Spider-Man helped me through all that. And the person who bought me my first Spider-Man book and encouraged me to read my first Spider-Man book was my father. And, that branched out into other things like, video games and computers and action figures and cartoons and all this stuff that I've grown to love and has become a part of my identity now as an adult. For the longest time, it was just me, my brother, and my dad who would be doing that stuff. My dad was the first person to make me watch Star Wars, first person to make me watch Indiana Jones, which made me fall in love with movies. First to, give me my first comic book and play, with my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures with me. So most definitely, that would be my father, who is responsible for the terribleness you see before you today.
And speaking of which, the final comment that we're going to read tonight is from Papa Thornton himself.
So my father says,
Tell me this sounds familiar, Josh.
Nerdiness in my day wasn't encouraged. You were perceived to be a nerd, you were in for a world of hurt. But if you want to know who started me on my lifetime love, speaking of which, I was in a world of hurt. But if you want to know who started me on my lifetime love of comic books, I would have to say my grandfather bought me my first comic book, but my best friend, Tim, is the one who fostered that love. He was also a big fan and 3 years older than me. Other than that, the first time I ever felt accepted as a nerd was by my 5th grade teacher, who got me into stamp collecting. Thank God that one didn't stick.
I'm just imagining the alternate universe where your dad is a stamp collector rather than like a Beatles fan. And
Can you imagine me being on this podcast getting teared up about the first stamp that my father bought for me?
Can you imagine when he got that irregular one? It was upside down.
It was slightly miscut and ruffled on the right edge.
I remember the first day the Forever stamp came out, and my father and I just wept. Oh my God. Okay. So listener, before we leave this week, I have a couple of requests for you, if you wouldn't mind. First off, please share this show with a friend. And you know what? Share this episode because we were delightful. And sharing is the ultimate internet currency, and we thank you for your donation. Also, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find us at That Kind of Nerd Podcast on Instagram. And help support us. Help support this show every single month on Patreon. Now, I just want to say, by the time that this episode hits your lovely ears, you only have a few hours to vote on our November spoiler cast episode. Because right now,
you see, you keep extending the deadline.
No, it's always been the 19th.
Because you really don't want to do it.
It has always been the 19th.
I think
it's been 2 weeks from the day we announce it.
Yeah, and I don't really think. I think basically we shouldn't be ending the show with trying to get them to vote your way. We should be saying, really,
vote, just vote.
No, we should be saying Happy Thanksgiving.
We should be saying Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, wait. Let's
to all of our listeners.
Probably segue into that.
This was the segue.
That was a terrible segue.
Post it. We'll do it live.
All right, that's how it is. Hope everyone enjoyed your segues. All right, so thank you so much, listener, for making us your walk around your neighborhood or your drive to work. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
Enough said.
Well, welcome to the club, because you are that kind of nerd.
But what we should totally do, just one day, just do a podcast just like this.
I can't do that.
I can't do that.
We'll get you really drunk, and then we'll do it.
No, that won't.
How will being drunk?
I don't
like the most you'll get out of me is going right, and that'll be pretty much
good with that.
It.
Right on,
right,
Josh. That was a good trailer, wasn't it?
You're very posh.
It depends on which one I want to do.
You are very proper British.
Depends on which one I want to. Because you can also just do this one if you really want to. Just give it a little mellow.
Well, that's more Welsh, isn't it?
It was close enough. Also the same thing. Kingdom, Queen, tip off. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, can we?
Anyway,
I don't.
So then I said to her, next time you put the crackers in your mouth.
That never gets old, CJ.
Because it never gets funny.
Exactly.
When is that season? When is that series premiere?
2019. I think.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Did you not hear him? He's like, ugh.
Oh, I think he grunted. He didn't go full
I grunted.
on. He didn't go full on peeping Tom.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Oh, yeah, you gotta put him down.
Jeremy Irons. Look at that mustache. He's wearing an ascot. Oh God, like Keith Richards' father. Sorry.
Speaking of a drunken story, right? My buddy Chad and I, we wrap up a long night at the Sunrise Diner on 4th Street in Allentown. And this is he and I sitting there, and I ordered whatever I was ordering, and the lady says ham or sausage, and fucking Chad, whose head was on the table at the moment, like springs up and goes, "What's ham or sausage?" And I fell out of my chair. I was laughing so hard. It is one of my fondest diner memories. And Brian's pointing to a picture and getting Scrapple, which delicious.
I love Scrapple.
Gross.
Oh yeah, Scrapple's amazing.
Gross.
Crispy,
reminds me of the hammer sausage story. I still have 37,000 2-cent stamps laying around if anybody needs them. They're not legal tender. I can't exchange them for currency. I'm always trying to barter my 2-cent stamps for favors.
Hey, Billy, will you mow the lawn? I'll give you a 2-cent stamp.
I'll give you 2,700 2-cent stamps.
He had to break out an abacus. He couldn't do it right there on the spot. To be fair, this was Roman times, so it made sense. The aqueduct was just clogged.
I needed him to snake my drain.
If you know what I mean.
It's not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, sometimes you need smaller hands. Your father's hands were far too large.
Oh my God. Oh, it's good.
As soon as I said it, I knew how wrong it was.
Very good. Oh God, leave that stinger, please. Just make sure that that's in there. I don't care if you save it for another time. Use it this show. I don't give a shit. So good.